Everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we are working outside. It's a beautiful, really overcast day, and I know that sounds counterproductive, but it's really a good day to plant some stuff um, rather than fighting the heat, and it's not too windy, so that's great. So we're excited for that. So we're staging out here in the driveway, and we're going to work in a bed that we've kind of been working on for several years now. We have a lot of perennial interest out here, a lot of salvia, some sage. That large bush there is a sage. It's beautiful. It blooms several times a year. The salvia comes in and out several times a year. There's some more sage. But down here, and this is actually, I'm walking towards the front of our house, we've got an area where we kind of have taken some older, very tired uh, boxwood and privet type shrubs out, and we have some lilies that hang out and give us some interest throughout the summer. We've got some nandina, and we have some crepe myrtles that we've actually taken back down to the ground. And please don't judge us and call us crepe murderers. We just, they were getting really tall and unruly, and they just needed to be taken care of and loved on. And those will sprout up really quickly and cover this whole area. We also have some lantana that comes back every year. It's a perennial for us as well. But anyway, we've decided that we want to kind of focus on this little corner here. I've had a few different things in there recently that I just wasn't that happy with. I did put some plumbago in here last summer, and it did pretty well, but it didn't winter over well. So we're just gonna. Oh, there's a little bird. The birds are really busy right now. All the little wrens and stuff are busy building their nests, so they're in and out of here constantly. Anyway, but I've got a couple of rose bushes that I just got, and planning on getting those in here today, and hopefully they will do well, and they'll get a lot of sun, a lot of well, they'll get a lot of midday sun, and but they will be shaded from our really, really hot afternoon sun by this oak tree that is just budding up now. So, well, it's actually been budding, and now it's got those long hairy things, and I don't know what those are called, but it seems like every season there's something hanging on to the oak tree. Of course, the leaves, and then we'll have lots of acorns come fall. So anyway, but that's coming on, and that'll take care of some shade that'll provide some good shade in the afternoon. So anyway, this is where we're going to be working. So I'm going to get this set up, and we're going to talk about these roses a little bit too. Okay, so before we get into this, I wanted to mention, oh my goodness. Okay, lots of bird stuff. I wanted to mention that I just picked these up a week ago, these roses, and they're just lovely. Um, but I noticed that we're having a little issue. I've had them over on my patio waiting to put out for this weekend. And I noticed that we already have some munching going on. So if you can see, I'm trying to get in focus here, that there's been some gnawing and going on here on some of the blooms. Um, this one is a beautiful, I'm going to throw a picture up because it just got through, this bud just got through blooming, and it was beautiful, but the wind's taken all the petals off. But it's a beautiful, kind of a light pink to white rose, and this one's called, I think it's Midnight in Paradise. I don't know. I'll throw a picture up. I've already forgotten the name of it, but it's a super pretty and very uh, good smelling rose. So anyway, but I've got to address this, and I just got through picking off this leaf right here because there was a worm inside, and so I've got to look around and see if there's any more hanging out. Like there could be Could be some anywhere really. So I'm going to go through and try to, since these were worked over from out here, I don't think there's anything inside. So I'm going to let these go, and I hope they're not too damaged that they won't open up, but they could be. So we'll just have to see. But I've got plenty of other buds coming on. There's one that's already spent. I'm not sure that that one has any damage, but there's a bunch of other buds. So I'm going to go through and kind of clean this up a little bit. We're going to give it some fertilizer once we get it in the ground. And then I'm probably going to go ahead and spray it with some insecticide specific for roses. I've got some, what's that brand? Garden Safe Rose and Flower Insect Spray. I've had that for a little while. I've got some neem oil. I could just use an insecticidal soap too. So anyway, we'll see how it goes. But I'm going to go ahead and get it kind of cleaned up and trimmed up a little bit anyway. I see a few leaves that need to come off. And we'll get it in the ground. And I didn't really notice anything on this one other than, you know, maybe a little bit of munching here and there, and that could be anything. I see a few leaves that have been worked over. I don't see anything going on the buds on this one. And, you know, it can vary from different varieties as to whether or not they're more susceptible or less susceptible. So we'll see. This one is called, I do remember that this one's called White Lies, because what's gorgeous about it is it comes on with a white bud, a white flower. I know it doesn't look like it because you can see a little bit of pink coming through on that one. No, you can't because I can't get it in focus. But as it grows and gets bigger, it starts turning red, and it gets this beautiful bloom with all this white interest, but it just keeps pouring on the pink until it gets almost into a red hue there. So that's kind of pretty and kind of neat. So yeah, it's called White Lie or White Lies. So anyway, but we're set up here now, and we're just gonna work through this process and see what we can do to kind of give this area a little more interest, and we'll check back in. So here we are, giving this a good spray. And again, good day for doing this. I wouldn't be doing this if the sun was out, and we'd really be messing up these leaves. The other thing is we are due some rain tonight, which we desperately need. It's finally kind of broken loose. I think I'm running out of this stuff. Broken loose, and we're starting to get some moisture now finally this spring. We've kind of had a dry winter and a very dry beginning of our spring. And so we're happy about that, but that's also gonna might negate my efforts here of trying to get something on these to keep the worms off of them. It's just such a wormy time of the year. Everything is coming alive and starving. So I'm trying to use this up, but I'll probably come back with some more, and I'll also really focus on the underneath side of the leaves, because that's where things tend to hide and love to get. So I'll pour a little bit more of this on there. But anyway, so I'm really happy with how this turned out. These are this one is going to get about 4 to 5 feet high. So it's going to be, maybe right in here. So it's going to at least double in height, and then it's going to get, I don't know, maybe about 3 to 4 feet wide. And it's going to be more of a shrub mounding kind of thing. This guy is more of an upright, and you can kind of almost tell, well, more from him, just the way that his the stalks, the stems come up from the leader, and it's going to come up and be more upright, and it's only going to be maybe 4 feet, 3 to 4 feet high, but it's going to have this other kind of different structure interest here. So that's exactly what I wasn't looking for symmetry. I much prefer asymmetry when it comes down to this kind of stuff. So anyway, you saw us digging the holes. We're constantly fighting rocks and roots. If it isn't a rock, it's a root. And that's okay because of where we live. There's a lot of white rock right under the surface. We're up on a ridge. We're actually kind of on what they would call a mountain ridge, but mountains in this part of Texas aren't very tall. But there's caliche underneath there and just all this kind of shaly white rock. And we run into that constantly, just, maybe a foot to 2 feet down is you're going to hit that. And, when you're working around a constructed structure like a house or whatever, there's going to be, whenever they built this house and poured the slab and dug up all of this, there's going to be there's pieces of concrete, here and there. And there's going to be a lot of debris that came off of that build. So you're always going to come up with that kind of stuff in flower beds. As you go along. We've lived here a little over 20 years, and we have worked all of the beds around this house several times, and we've amended the soil, and there's still always just a lot to do, a lot of rocks to pull out, and we're always coming across something that our shovel hits. And of course we have to watch for our sprinkler system as well and make sure we don't get into our lines. But anyway, this looks good, and so we're going to decide soon what we are going to finish out here. I just want to add a little bit more. I don't want to junk it up too much, but I just want, a little bit more, maybe something a little lower growing. And then we're coming in with a annual dose of mulch. We always mulch our beds every year. As a matter of fact, we have a load coming tomorrow. So depending on how much rain we get in the next few days, it may or may not get put out. But anyway, we'll figure out what we're going to do, and then we'll mulch this all in so that we can retain that moisture. And I'll keep these moist for, hopefully it's going to rain every day for the next few days and I won't have to worry about it. But I'll keep them, make sure they stay moist for at least, a week or two, kind of let those roots get established. And then, it should just be okay on its own. So we'll just kind of watch it. I'm just going to come out every day and check and make sure nothing's like nibbling and, getting out of control there, because again, it's that time of the year. So anyway, this project, I'm calling it complete for today. And yeah, I'm real happy with it.